have a very, I think, unique background. I grew up in Syracuse, actually grew up in DeWitt, and I went to Janesville DeWitt High School, right by Lemoyne College. Went to Cornell University and played lacrosse at Cornell for 4 years, actually. And after that, about my junior year at Cornell, I joined a Christian fellowship and became very active in my faith. And grew up Catholic, but it was this fellowship that really began to touch my heart in a very special way and reveal what my faith really was all about and what it means and how relevant it is to our lives. So I graduated from Cornell with a business degree, actually, but I knew I wasn't going to work in the business field. I knew that although there's nothing wrong with the business field, that it just wasn't going to be my path. I wasn't going to be wearing a tie and a suit and sitting behind a desk at the end of the day. That I knew I was meant to be with people and to serve in some unique way. And I didn't know which direction that would be or how that would play itself out. But I joined a prayer group at the church that I grew up in, and one day one of the guys came into the prayer group and he said, "You know what? I met this man that you got to meet. He's living out the gospel that we're reading every Sunday." And his name was Ray McVeigh, and he was a priest up at Unity Acres in Pulaski. And I went up there, and after 3 visits, I just stayed and ended up volunteering for 2.5 to 3 years. And he really taught me how to love people who were different than me, without any judgment, without any conditions. Just unconditional, faithful love from the sun coming up to the sun going down. And that was a really special time in my life. I was also introduced through the men there. It's a home for 120 men. We don't call it a homeless shelter because for many of the men it's their home. So they're not homeless anymore. They found their home. But the men there introduced me to a part of Syracuse that I never knew existed. They would tell me stories about Syracuse, and I was convinced they were talking about New York City. It couldn't be the city that I grew up in. And as I continued to hear their stories, they were talking about parts of the city and neighborhoods in the city that I had never been to. And I had no idea how hard it was to live in certain neighborhoods, and just what a daily grind life can be for many of our neighborhoods and neighbors here in this community. After that, after 2.5 years, I moved in with my great uncle who was dying of emphysema, and I lived with him for 6 months in the Bernardine Apartments. I was the youngest resident in the Bernardine Apartments by about 40 years. And then I joined the L'Arche community, which is a community of people who live with people with developmental disabilities. And they have 4 homes here in Syracuse. I volunteered at the Oxford homeless shelter, right next door to Brady Faith Center. And then I was hired at St. Lucy's as a pastoral outreach worker, and I've been there for 20 years. And then David Allen approached me and Father Schaffer about this new position at Brady, and they did a wonderful job of putting together a sustainability committee, and I was just really impressed, with their work. David Allen has a gift of creating community wherever he goes, and Father Schaffer, just in his own unique and wonderful ministry, really, I think, is an incredible model and witness to all of us. They came to me asking, can you help us grow some urban ministry? And that's my passion. That's what I love to do.